it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby, they don't want you to see, but everybody south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
X-ray season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that, hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. It's Feel Good Friday. I am your co-host, Omari Salisbury, and today, joined on the set by my good friend and one of the very best photographers I know, Jake Gravbrot.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone out there, too. Happy Friday. Happy Feel Good Friday.
Oh, man, you sound like you're in a feel-good mood.
Well, it's Friday.
Good stuff. Trey Holiday got a well-deserved day off today, and I think that she went to escape the heat, and she's left us with it. All right, let's get into it. Right now is a perfect opportunity for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share this stream right here with people who you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news, information, and feel-good Friday stuff emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners over there at the South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3 at Bellevue College. Want to remind everybody that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Right now, we got SoundCloud over there in the links and up on the screen. There you go. Make me big. But Apple, iTunes, Google, Spotify, all you have to do is search Converge Media Network, and you can find us there, and you can listen to the Morning Update Show as well as all of our other shows. These T-shirts. I'll remind everybody as well, this is a perfect opportunity. Go to whereweconverge.com/shop. We have our Pride shirts there, black, white, and pink. You know, it's a great way to support Black independent media while looking good and showing your pride. We've been reminding people, and we'll continue to do that, PSE, that PSE is making an urgent call to the public, to their customers. They have a bill program. You see PSE in there? Sorry. There we go. PSE is offering COVID bill assistance. And we got the link there in the comments. If you're a PSE customer and you're having any issues with your bill, please reach out to them. The utility moratorium ends July 31st. They have up to $2,500 for qualifying customers, so you want to take advantage of that. On message as well for people that are looking for vaccinations. This right here is from Public Health. Just a reminder that the vaccination is always free. Everyone age 12 and up can get the vaccines. There's no appointment needed. That's kingcounty.gov. I think we got the link in there, but is it kingcounty.gov/COVID? And you can get all the information that you need for that. And then one last thing here before we get into the headlines, starting with the heat wave. We've got an overlay right here. A lot of you guys who watch this show are friends with my mom. And, you know, she posted on her Facebook page today. That was Grandma Alice there on the left. My mom's actually down in Montgomery, Alabama. And Grandma Alice passed away on Wednesday morning at 92 years old. God bless her. Just a phenomenal woman. What a phenomenal life story and everything else. So Mom still is down there in Montgomery. So if you're friends with Mama Walden on Facebook or anywhere else, you go ahead and send her some love, and we appreciate that. Jake, first headline, we've only got one headline. It's probably the big headline right now, and we're talking about the heat. We can put this one up on the screen. We'll jump right into it. City announces community resources for upcoming heat wave. And guess what? That's right there on our website. These guys are really, Ike Everhart and them are stepping it up. We'll put the link right there. We've got a lot of resources of what the city has. The city, they're talking about wading pools are open, spray parks are open, libraries, and then there's non-city stuff as well. Like you can always go to the mall, things like that. What are you going to do to try to beat the heat?
I don't know that I'm going to be able to. I mean, it's supposed to be over 100 degrees. I don't know how my apartment isn't air conditioned. You like to keep it 90 degrees in here no matter what anyways. So I've been not beating the heat for a long time.
Hey man, we are tropical people over here. You're right. A warm studio. But we definitely want to remind everybody that it's like take precautions in this heat. This is something it's very new and rare here. I was talking to my mom earlier. We were talking about when I was a kid, man, we only got a few weeks of summer here. We're lucky in the end of July and into August. But, like, you know, it's in the hundreds right now in June.
I mean, but they used to say that a Pacific Northwest summer never started until after July 4th, and we are just a little over a week still until July 4th, which is crazy. And to hit, I mean, they used to also call June January, and this seems to be about the furthest thing away from January. So
right, and so we want to encourage people, man, definitely stay hydrated. That link there, there's different resources that the city's providing and other people are providing as far as beating the heat. Drink water, man. Check on our elders as well. Seattle is a city traditionally that doesn't have air conditioning in these houses and these apartments. So, man, let's check on everybody. Let's stay hydrated, man. Let's. People are always like, "There's no sunshine in Seattle." So for all you guys, it's here.
Well, one other thing too is sunscreen. We forget often too because we don't get a ton of extreme sunshine here, but that's one thing to surely think about. Just throw on some extra sunscreen if you can, protect that skin while you're out there. One other thought too, actually, and people might call me crazy for wearing a long sleeve on a day like this, but wearing long sleeves actually helps on those hot days. The less that you're actually sweating, the more hydrated that you stay, and the long sleeves and pants actually can help that, strangely enough.
All right, good stuff. So on today's show, we're actually taking a look at some of your work. I'm excited to do that. And also, we've got comedian Debbie Wooten. Debbie's going to be performing tomorrow at Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab out in Columbia City. And so we'll be talking to Debbie as well on that. And one other thing, though, before we jump into the video, is that, that Taking Black Pride is tomorrow over there at Jimi Hendrix Park. And it's interesting because this event, this topic, and this community is something that people are really having to kind of come out and say where they're at on this issue, different, whether it's community, individuals, leaders, organization, government, and media. And won't spend too much time on this, but I think that it's real interesting that a lot of people who rally around Black Lives Mattering, we say all the time here that a lot of people who talk about the value of Black lives is a la carte. I mean, it's only certain Black lives that matter. If the police kill somebody Black, then that Black life mattered. If a Black person dies in gun violence in the neighborhood, then that Black life don't matter. If a Black person who's straight or whatever the term is, like we have learned a lot of terminology, something's me, my life matters. But if someone is Black trans, their life doesn't matter. And, it's right now, it's like the whole city is choosing up. And I think that a lot of people are actually being exposed, to be honest with you. And it's a lot of people that talk the talk around Black lives. There's a lot of people that talk the talk about wanting to support the LGBTQ community, and even talk the talk about how they're supporting Black trans. Where you at? Y'all quiet. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people are going to remember this silence.
Oh, sorry. I'm with you 100% on that. Absolutely. We talk a lot about just making sure that we really are able to, at the end of the day, say that we stood on the right side of history. And I think that you've made some great points this week, and we're one of the only people that actually stood up in the media and spoke out about this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of media that's been out there that's had an opportunity to really come out and let people know where your position is at, especially community-based media, and especially media that sits out there and says that they're supportive of different communities and everything else. Y'all been silent. It's okay though. We hear you. We got a bunch of different video out right here today, and I mean a real special one. They're all special, but something that we did a conversation around the Negro Leagues and a Negro League discussion. So that's out there. But you bring good energy to the set. I think that we're gonna actually start with where'd you go? You went up to. I think we'll do Grand Teton.
Okay.
All right, so you went to the Grand Teton. Where is Grand Teton anyway?
The Grand Tetons are in Wyoming, right on the border of Wyoming and Idaho. So for for my show that airs every other Sunday on Converge, this last weekend I took the viewers to the Grand Teton National Park, and actually flew out to Boise, made a little bit of a road trip out of it. You can fly closer. There is an airport that's only about 10 miles away from the park itself in Jackson, Wyoming, for those of you that are skiers and like to get to up on the slopes. Jackson Hole is a wildly popular ski location, but it's actually Jackson, Wyoming itself has an airport. It's the only airport that's in the national park there. You can fly straight into the airport and be right there. I like the road trips though, so I flew to Boise.
Mm-hmm. Who'd you fly on?
I flew on Alaska. I've been flying Alaska actually for a long time. And speaking of, just standing on the right side of history, I've really been impressed with Alaska's commitment to being just that, whether it be through the piece that we did actually a month or so ago, the commitment. Just last week they unveiled their Pride plane. They're really, to me as a company, they're one that I really am proud to stand behind and support.
All right, good stuff. This is Jake Gravbrott's trip to Grand Tetons.
The backyard got mountains in. Every week, I receive an email from Alaska Airlines touting their current airfare specials, and about once a month, I find myself in a new location because of it. In April, I took advantage of a $100 round trip from Seattle to Boise. There, I met up with an old buddy of mine, and we hit the road, driving towards the Idaho-Wyoming border for a weekend at Grand Teton National Park. I'd never been to Teton, one of the 10 most visited national parks in the U.S., and the southern cousin to Wyoming's most well-known national park, Yellowstone. If I'd have had more time, Yellowstone would have also been a very accessible destination, as it resides just 10 miles to the north of Grand Teton. As it was, a few days exploring the still icy conditions of Grand Teton were in store for us. National parks are known for their wildlife, and the Teton Wilderness was no exception. Within mere moments of being inside the park boundaries, we saw 3 grizzly bears, a mama and her 2 cubs, both of which were about 3 years old. We also spotted a fox on the hunt, moose, thousands of elk in the nearby National Elk Refuge, geese, hawks, and much more. There's also a National Museum of Wildlife Art in Jackson, Wyoming, which borders the southern edge of the national park itself. The Teton Range is the youngest mountain range in the United States and is visible from both the Wyoming and Idaho sides, which gives you tons of options for visibility if you're a sunrise and sunset enthusiast like myself. The tallest peak in the range is Grand Teton itself, which sits at 13,776 feet. It is surrounded by Middle Teton, South Teton, Mount Moran, and Mount Owen, which all peak at over 12,000 feet. I was able to catch the sunset from the Idaho side near Grand Tarhee Resort, and I saw the sunrise hitting the Tetons from Moore Monroe, a still intact series of settler abodes from the early 1900s that sit just under the Teton Range to the east. All in all, given the short time we had and the cold weather conditions, we were still able to see a lot.
All right, Jake. So when you visit these national parks and other places you're going, I have lots of questions, but I usually have one question. What did you take away from that experience?
I mean, definitely just how much wildlife is on display. You know, national parks exist to preserve this sacred land. And we have so many places here in America that are absolutely worth preserving. And some places even that have been taken off of the list, federal list of places that are national park type status. And we've seen even recently in Utah, I think it's Bears Ear Monument that was defunded, and really quickly you start to see people coming in and ultimately just terrorizing the land, whether it be spray painting things, rocks, et cetera, that, like have just been around for gajillions of years, to leaving trash and garbage everywhere. So, the preservation of this land is so important. And when you see preserved land, you see what existed long before we built cities and homes and all this in these places. And so wildlife, just the sheer amount of wildlife that's on display in some of these national parks. And, Grand Teton is definitely one that has so much wildlife on display. I mentioned in the video that I saw grizzlies within moments of being in the park. I had never seen a grizzly bear prior to that. And within moments, I was within probably 200 yards of
We lucky the grizzly didn't see you.
I mean, that was actually a pretty safe scenario because there were all of the rangers that were already present. So they had already started to block off people's ability to get close. But a month later, when I was in Denali, I saw a grizzly and I was the only person within miles. And thankfully, I was in my car at the time, the rental car, and I was going one direction and it decided to go the other. But there's, nature is absolutely beautiful. But it can also be kind of terrifying too, and to see a grizzly that close and be the only person around, it's pretty humbling.
Yeah. Man, you deep, Jake.
You knew this.
I just finna be like, yo, I took away this and that. Man, he's a deep brother. Right on. We've got another clip later on here in the show where he went up to the North Cascades. So we'll play that here in a bit. All right. So if you guys know me and you know this show, then you know how much me and Jake love baseball and history of baseball and everything else. And we wanted to get this out to you guys last week, but little engine that could. We do the best we can. It's a little bit late than ever because we wanted during Juneteenth, and also the salute to the Negro Leagues. But we teamed up with Baseball Beyond Borders and Ebbets Field Flannel, and we had a discussion with some local players from Seattle, people who are from the area, from the neighborhood, went to high school here, and then went on and had some kind of pro career, mostly in the minor leagues, some in pro career. And we sat down with them and talked to them about what the Negro Leagues meant to them, and also a real important question, what we lost versus what we gained. And you'll hear in this video here, Buki Gates calls out something that we always say, that baseball was the only sport that black people owned, right? And you think about that. We own the stadiums, we own the concessionaires, we own the ticket takers, we own the company that printed the tickets, we own the bus lines, we own the hotels where baseball players stayed. Baseball was the only sport in America that black people owned. And so it's a discussion here. It's a bit longer than clips we usually play here. It's about 8.5 minutes, but I wanted to share with you guys something that we're really proud of. And we're putting out the extended version. The actual full version is about 12 minutes, and we'll be putting that out this afternoon because it's important that, no matter what, we keep our history, our legacy, our culture, and our traditions alive. Here's Converge Media's salute to the Negro Leagues.
Welcome to Converge Media's Salute to the Negro Leagues, a living room conversation discussing the impacts of Negro League baseball in our communities. I am Buki Gates, a servant leader and a lover of all things baseball. Last year culminated in the 100-year anniversary of Negro League baseball. It all began in 1920. The Negro National League formed from the determination of Andrew Rube Foster, who was insistent that black teams should be owned by black men. It was at this time Negro League baseball brought forth a thriving ecosystem that produced economic mobility through its sports and entertainment offering. But this effort was long overdue. Even before 1920, Bud Fowler, Frank Leland, Moses Fleetwood Walker, and a host of black ball players explored their potential to play baseball. Their efforts and the efforts of many paved the way for those even on this panel and others in the black community to love and fall in love with the sport of baseball. Joining me today are three distinguished gentlemen, ones who are lovers of the game of baseball just like myself. With me is Andre Redmond, Rick Pitts, and Matt Fields. Brothers, thanks for joining us for this conversation.
It's my pleasure, man. Definitely.
So we're talking about a salute to Negro Leagues and baseball, right? Being the only sport that we ever owned as black people. It's actually the only sport ever owned by black people.
Like, personally, it's crazy, and I'm gonna say, just not to cut into time, right? But I didn't know that we owned baseball. I had no idea. Right, and that right there hit me even harder because it's like, man, this is something I love to do. I had no clue we owned it. Like, this was ours, and it got taken from us, just like everything else. Yeah. Right, like, it's intense.
So then when we formed our own league, you had an ecosystem, a thriving space, right, where everything revolved around it. And Omari Salisbury talks about all the time, right? Ticket sales, we own that. We own buses, we own the concessionaires, we own fields because of that.
Did you see the stands in those pictures, man? Just overflowing, man, with melanin.
So what did we lose, right? What did we lose and what did we gain from integration?
It was detrimental, man, to the culture of baseball, man. It hurt us.
Yeah.
It hurt us, man, because it was taking that team's star attraction away. You take the star away, you're gonna take some fans away. You're gonna take some of the enjoyment of the game away from the people that are paying. No, I'm not gonna pay the same to watch a team that doesn't have Satchel Paige, doesn't have a Buck O'Neil, doesn't have right, and sadly, that's being accepted on that side, just steady decline.
And it didn't happen overnight, but yet you started to see the wheels fall off.
I think we lost more than we gained. We gained opportunity on a higher scale to be able to put a few athletes on the top scale to be seen worldwide. But I feel like if we would have had the Negro Leagues longer, that more of us would have continued to play.
Yes. Right? And so, like, imagine what we're going through now in this situation, what they're going through back then, like racism, death threats, like not really knowing what was going to happen.
Not even getting an opportunity.
No, like not even getting the opportunity. I think that's what kills majority of, I'll say, African American players' dreams, is the fact that subconsciously we're like, man, are we actually even getting a fair opportunity, or are we just going into this like blind? Yeah. Right? Because there's a lot of us who should have had the opportunity that didn't get it. Yep. And it's not because we didn't want it, it's because somebody else had the control. Yep. So then you always doubt yourself, and then from there you get lost.
And it still rings true to the day of there's still a select limitation of African Americans getting access to it, right? Unless you're finding organizations that are coming into communities and supporting that. Other than that, it's just pretty much a nitpick, right? We're gonna nitpick who we want. So I believe a decision was just made not too long ago about the merging. Mm-hmm. So now records, all Negro League records and stats will now merge into and being a part of Major League Baseball history. So now we're gonna see a lot of records fall. Right.
Now I got to go back to Cooperstown, man.
Now we got to see who, like, really, Josh Gibson. Now, we always hear they say he was the black Babe Ruth. Well, obviously, Babe Ruth was the white Josh Gibson. No question. That's the reality of it is.
Right.
Josh Gibson was not a Babe Ruth. He was a Josh Gibson, and he was something as a catcher. He was something as a hitter. You know, but then you start thinking of the Buck Leonards. You start looking at the Martin DeHigos, who obviously I think and that's the jersey you're donning right now, Martin DeHigo. He was actually the only player ever to be in 5 different countries' Hall of Fames. You just like, that's whoa. Crazy. How did Negro League shape your trajectory in wanting to play baseball?
Yeah, I mean, saying flat out, man. Just hearing the stories of Negro League baseball, I got hip to the Satchel Paige, I got hip to the Cool Papa Bell, I got hip to the Josh Gibson, mm-hmm. I got hip to Buck O'Neil, all of those guys, man. Just and it just made, plus the love of baseball, made me want to just I want to see what I could do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stories, like you said, the stories was it for me too. I remember my dad, and whenever I pitched, he called me Satchel Paige. When I'm in the outfield, he called me Cool Papa Bell. And it wasn't until I got older until I really found out who these guys were and appreciate that those were big time compliments that he was giving me.
Huge.
He said, Cool Papa Bell. And I don't know, it's one of these vibes how true it is. He said he's so fast, he hit a ground ball up the middle and the ball hit him in the head sliding into second base. So I said, if he's running like that, yeah, I'm Cool Papa Bell.
So let's talk about kind of how important is keeping the legacy alive of Negro Leagues with these jerseys, right? We're wearing Josh Gibson, Slim Jones, potentially. We got Buck O'Neil. This could be Jackie's. I don't know what number. I'm number 5, so it could be Satchel. Yeah. And then obviously you're down in Martin DeHigo's jersey. Why is it important that we keep this legacy? And Ebbetsfield Flannels, thank you Ebbetsfield Flannels for allowing us to use these jerseys for this segment. Use? Yeah. Well, we could talk about them. We'll talk to them. If we could start wearing these.
I got to go to the bathroom, man.
No, thank you. Absolutely. So talk about the importance of it, right? Of keeping this legacy alive of Negro League baseball.
I think the importance, right, like, just for me, is reminding us where everything started and where it came from, right? Like, not the money, not the fame, but the passion of just playing a kid's game and like loving what you do, right? And of course, being African American and doing something that supposedly was unheard of, but being able to be great at it, right? Like that's one thing that's very important.
Yeah, I second that. I definitely need to do, and I'm going to do a lot more homework after today, and just enlighten myself and get more familiar not only with the not so well-known players, but just the league overall, because you never know what spark you're going to give to some young person. The same way we had that spark from our parents or who influenced us about Satchel Paige and Jackie Robinson. It could be somebody in our organization that might start the next BBB, or might start another semi-pro like your dad did that could just explode into something else. So that's why it's important to keep it alive, because you never know who you're going to touch, who's going to plant that seed and expand on what we already got.
I mean, within the last month, I was enlightened about, Black Wall Street, and what we had there and what we lost there. So, I mean, parallel to that, we had, our own league, our own stadiums, our own, following, and the players, man, just, they added so much to the game. I mean, that's where, the flair, the style, it's a beautiful thing, especially your baseball.
Yeah.
That's what we need to get the kids familiar with, is our baseball. There's baseball and everybody loves baseball, but love yours.
Yeah.
So, brothers, I thank y'all for joining us. I thank Converge Media. Thank you, Ebbetsfield Flannel. We look forward to continuing to talk about baseball and celebrating Juneteenth, and a salute to Negro League Baseball.
Yeah, so one, you can tell we love baseball here, and the history of it. Two, man, really thankful to all the panelists there, and this is the beauty of like having a creative space and us kind of doing our things. This all really came about. Ike Everard, who's one of our interns from here, goes to Arizona State, was like, yo, I want to write an article about the Negro League game there that the Mariners had. And what started as one conversation about an article, and I'm like, man, well, you should talk to Buki. Let's see what Buki's doing with Baseball Beyond Borders. And Buki was saying that he was just going to have a discussion. This discussion was going to happen anyway. And we were like, we got to bring the cameras to that. And so what started off as just an article about a Mariners game, then evolved now into this conversation. And we've got another segment that'll be out in a few weeks that focuses locally on baseball players here in Seattle. And we're working with Stephanie Johnson-Tolliver at the Black Heritage Society of Washington State, who has a great archive of photos and some of everything else. But, in my opinion, I think the guy, one of the panelists there hit it right on. He was like, yeah, there was a gain, as in there was a certain number of players that have, gone to this high level of it, but we can never forget the economic impact and just the impact to communities and everything else that Negro League Baseball supported. And also, even beyond economic impacts and everything else, imagine that young black kids in all these towns where the Negro Leagues played. I mean, just the impact of seeing these ball-playing professionals there in town, and impact was huge, and it's something that oftentimes is overlooked. And I know that the Major League Baseball, of course, honors the accomplishments of Jackie Robinson, as they should, and they've talked about the merging the records from the Negro Leagues now to Major League Baseball. But we should never forget that baseball was the only sport that black people owned, and there was an amazing ecosystem around it.
I think that one of the most obvious analogies for a Seattleite to really wrap their head around this would be when our Seattle Supersonics were stolen by Howard Schultz and Clay Bennett back in 2008 and sold to Oklahoma City. Queen Anne, the neighborhood itself, Lower Queen Anne, Uptown, Upper Queen Anne, lost 40 plus games a year of basketball, and the entire neighborhood, businesses, bars, et cetera, all suffered because of the loss of this team. The Negro Leagues were not just a team and a stadium. They were an entire league of teams and stadiums and workers and players and fans and everything else. And when baseball integrated black ball players into its game, it was not as if those two leagues merged. They picked a few players, one per team, basically, and a couple more as time went on. But it wasn't as if like the NBA and the ABA merged two leagues together and the teams stayed, et cetera, the NFL and the AFL. It was an entire league that just went kaput outside of the few players that actually made it to the major leagues. And so you have these names of players that are, household names by this point. You have Jackie Robinson, you got players that came along after like Willie Mays and Willie Stargell. But you have to really dive into the history of baseball to know some of these other names. And like a Josh Gibson being the greatest ball player of all time. You could say that it's been said, this is not my quote, but it's said that Babe Ruth was the white Josh Gibson. And everybody knows Babe Ruth as being one of the greatest ball players of all time and was the home run champion for the longest time. There's just so much that was lost in the not in the merging of, but in the integration of black ball players into Major League Baseball. And so this story to me is one that really needs to be told, needs to continue. We need to continue following up on this because there is still so much left that can be said. And it's just one more way I think that communities outside of the black community can really understand what we have done to the black community to suppress it. And so I'm glad to be a part of all this, and kudos to Ike for coming up with a story on this.
Yeah, no doubt. And actually, you took some photos from out there, and so we'll put those photos up. The photo and the video will be across our social media platforms later on today. Again, special thanks to Ebbets Field Flannels. I mean, they came through big as far as the vision. We were like, man, if they're going to talk about Negro League, then it would be dope if they had like the Negro League jerseys. And Ebbets Field Flannels, it was an instant conversation. They were like, what do you need? And so, big shout out to them, and thank you to everybody who worked on this project right here. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're joined by comedian Debbie Wooten talking about Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab, which is occurring tomorrow out in Columbia City. You are watching The Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Hey, it's Jake from Converge Media and Get the F Outside. I hope that all of you are taking advantage of the ability to be outdoors and enjoy nature as our summer months heat up. One other thing that you can take advantage of here in the King County area are free COVID-19 vaccinations. There's all kinds of options for pop-up clinics, and the vaccine is able to be administered to anyone 12 years and older. And did I mention that it's free? You don't need insurance, and they don't care what your citizenship status is. And that kind of sounds like the way things should be anyhow, but we'll save that for another conversation. Information and resources are available at kingcounty.gov/COVID, or you can call the COVID-19 call center at 206-477-3977. Washington, we are almost out of this, but we got to stay locked in for the home stretch. Let's get vaxxed out so we can max out our time with friends, family, and in the great outdoors.
Public Health, Seattle, King County, Zero Youth Detention, along with our partners from across the South King County region, are committed to reducing violence and creating the conditions needed for our neighborhoods to be safe and free of crime. Too often, the response to crime and violence has been a piecemeal approach with a program here and a program there. When family units collapse, schools fail to educate, the economy fails to produce jobs, and crime rises, we've looked to law enforcement and punitive measures to save us. Nothing could be more wrong or further from the truth. Law enforcement can't shoulder all the burden or take the rest of us off the hook. We are acknowledging the lived experiences of Black, brown, and indigenous communities. We are centering community as the experts who can effectively identify key issues related to systems, policies, and practices that impact children, families, and communities of color across this region. Those most impacted by the issues will help call out and identify the root causes, including structural and systemic factors. 150 residents will partner with King County to develop strategies, solutions, and an action plan that explicitly addresses system changes needed and eliminates barriers to access for Black, brown, and indigenous folks. These residents will also identify the criteria used to measure our collective success. Simply put, we need your help as we do the work needed to make King County the safest in this country. It will take specific commitments from all of us, community members, our young people, elders, and leaders from the sectors all across this region. Together, we will get this work done. Please click the link below and sign up for a work group. Or you can recommend a co-facilitator from community for each work group. We look forward to hearing your ideas, concerns, feedback, and solutions as we build a community where all our children can be happy, healthy, hopeful, safe, and thriving.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show, and we're joined in studio now by comedian Debbie Wooten. How are you?
I am wonderful this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah, the weather's beautiful, and what more can I ask for? I'm breathing.
All right, yeah, no, it's hot.
Yeah, oh, it's not hot to me. This is not hot. I'm old, baby, and my bones get cold, so I need that warmth. I just can't wait to get back outside.
All right, well, it's out there for you. But before we jump into the details about the show, man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'll be 66 on my next birthday. Should I look at you or look at this forward?
All right now.
Huh?
No, this is good right here.
Right here, okay.
Don't worry. We're gonna tell you when we tell
they got
when we tell you,
TVs
you'll look
in
into that one right there. I know it's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, because I see a TV with my face on it, I gotta look at it. So you tell me to look this way. I'm vain. Okay, no, I'm good.
Vain, huh? Well, in that case, tilt a little bit to your left. There you go. And then we're going to catch each other right there. So then the camera got more of your face, the other camera. Now, tell us about Laugh Rehab. What's going on?
Well, it's, everybody is in recovery because of the pandemic and all this hell we've been through. So we all need to learn how to laugh about something. It's been so serious. Many tears have been shed. We've had lots of death. And so this is where you come to get your laugh back on after it's been destroyed or damaged from all the horrific things we've been through for the last year and a half.
Thank you for the reminder.
And so I am here. I am going to be at the show as a healing humor nurse. They help nurse you back and pull that humor back up that's been pressed down by the damn pandemic.
All right. I like that, a humor healing nurse.
That's right. That's who I am. I'm going to let you nurse off my comedy tits.
Oh, okay.
I'm from nature.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
The Windy City.
Yeah.
I was born and raised up there. I love the wind. It blew all the skinny women away. I got to date a lot, so I got married early and had 5 failed birth control methods. And then after my divorce, I decided to take my kids, because they was going into teenagers. If I got to raise these 5 kids by myself, I'm taking them out to Chicago hood and put them in Tacoma, Washington hood. That's right. You're going to join the gang of Bambi and deers and stuff. That's what you're going to join.
Yeah, I ain't seen Bambi on the hilltop.
Yeah, no, they're going to be in the woods. In fact, you go further enough in Tacoma, they got little woods in there. That's where I raised them from. The youngest was 5, the oldest was 13. Mm-hmm. And my boys, well, we got to move all the way out of Chicago, way to Washington. I said, you see them drug deals on the corner? Yeah. You know what your mama going to do? She see you on that corner, I'm going to hit you with my car and kill you. Then they're going to put me in jail. They're going to take my fingerprints. They're going to take my mugshot. And then I'll be in jail to think about what I did. I'll confess it all in a little notebook, and then they'll confiscate it, and then Oprah get it, and I'll be on her show, and Then I'll write a memoir about what I did,
Might
and then I'll
not
make
be a bad
a
plan,
movie, and then I'll be rich, and you'll be dead, just dead. How about that? So I would point to
that was
drug
a
dealers.
compelling argument.
That's right, and I would point to drug dealers every day. What your mama gonna do? She see you on the corner, killers to get rich. We know, mama. I said, don't forget.
Yeah, you know, my son's actually out there in the north part of the city. He's attending Loyola University.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's studying broadcasting out there.
You know, we need these young warriors to knock down that white wall. That's what we got to do, and make that wall all colors. I'm writing a book right now called "I'm Not Black, I'm Polio," because I didn't know I was black till I was 7. And I had polio. I contracted polio when I was 5 months old. That's why I believe in the vaccine. People, what's in the vaccine? Well, you know what? And you got the polio vaccine. Did you know they make it with monkey livers? Did you ask what monkey did they shoot you up with? Was he brown or black? What country did he come? You didn't ask nothing. You took the polio shot, and you don't have polio today. I didn't get the shot, and I had polio from the waist down in one arm. Do you know what polio is?
Man, I do know what polio is.
How you know how you catch it? You know how you contract it?
I don't know how you contract it.
Okay, it's a brain virus. It affects the signals in your brain. That it slows them down, destroys them, make your arms move, your legs move, your lungs breathe, your ability to pick the right man, you know, things like that. And
everything, huh?
Yeah, this polio is just a lot of women had polio. They didn't even know it. It was polio they had, you know. So.
Man, so this is interesting you brought this up, and I just throw this out there because especially in our community, there is a lot of vaccine hesitancy, and so it's just real interesting to hear you say that, like, yo, you know, you're telling people they should get this vaccine.
Yeah, I said, look at me. I'm a victim of a pandemic. Okay, do you want to be a victim of a pandemic, a survivor, and have damage and lung damage? Do you want that for your life? And I took my COVID vaccine card, and I put it on a big old T-shirt, and it says, "Here's mine, wear yours." And I wear that a lot when I'm with my brothers and sisters, trying to just do a silent ministry.
That's well. You already said that you're a healing nurse.
I am.
It looks like through humor, through messaging, and everything else.
I be cracking. I be cracking, but I be facking.
Watch out now.
Right, I'm laughing, joke with funny folks, but I don't play.
All right, man. You know I can sit around you all day because you just dropping jewels, just da 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 da.
That's it. I'm a farmer, baby. You know, I'm gonna water them seeds too.
Let me ask you this: how long have you known Julius Caesar Robinson?
For years.
Yeah.
He's seen me on stage for years, and you know, I couldn't say nothing. I was married, so I couldn't really get really to know him that well. You know, I was married. I've been married 41 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's 4 husbands though.
That's cumulative.
They're like college credits. You know, they're like college credits.
So you got a doctorate then by now.
Well, I tell you, but 3 died in a row. To be fair,
okay.
3 of my last husbands died in a row. And the last one died just last year. And last year I married a white man because Trump had scared the hell out of me, and I wanted some protection. So I married him in 2017. As soon as he got to be president, I found me the first white man that was breathing that asked me to marry him. I said, "Oh, okay, dude, I need you to keep me safe."
I know that's right.
Trump didn't like no green card, so I got a white card. That was my.
Got the white card.
Yeah,
huh?
I got the white card, but he was this old country cracker. Turned me into a graham cracker. You know, it's just something else. But I feel better.
Well, look, it sounds like you have an in with a Julius Caesar Robinson. Can you give him just a tip from us? Pass it along.
A tip? What do you mean?
I'm just saying that next time he invites somebody to the comedy show, tell him to pass along a drink ticket or two to the the guests.
I'll buy you any drink you want. What you want?
Oh,
you want a drink for you?
What's happening?
If anybody come to hear me tonight, I will buy you a drink. Because they got plenty of water there, don't they?
Oh, snap. I don't fell for it.
I will give everybody a drink.
So double shot of water?
Hey, on me with lemon. With lemon.
Right. So
something in it.
Tell us, you're there tomorrow. Who else are you joining with?
Oh, I'm going to be there with several big names. And I'm looking at this card. It's D. Lamont.
Yep.
And I've worked with him over the years, and I can't wait to work with him again. This is going to be so much fun. And we got Izzy B. Izzy B. something. He be busy making us laugh.
All right now.
And then we got Sean C.
Okay.
And I'm going to see what Sean going to do. That's right. But I'm looking at the card because I'm bad on remembering names at my age of 65 years old. I got name tags of my own kids. They have to wear the "Hello, my name is" tags at the house.
You be looking at the card. Look what I be looking at. Most people don't see this on screen. And we got teleprompters and iPads and everything that I could use. I just like using my paper. So don't worry if you're over there.
I'm okay.
Looking at the card. We got a quick video about the show tomorrow. We'll play
that's
right
great.
now. Why Caesar got his logo up there longer than any comedian?
Wow, I loved it. I love that chick at the beginning. Who is that? Who's that? I'm a chameleon. I dress different. I change the colors of my hair, like I change my panties, a different color every day. I don't know what I'm gonna be wearing, but here I am today, a blonde.
Well, either way, we'll find you on stage tomorrow.
Oh yes, I'm not sure what color hair I have on tomorrow to match my dress, but I'm going to be bringing the healing salve we need to laugh again. It's been so long, and we need something to laugh at. So come and get a healing. Let's get those natural endorphins going.
I'm with that, and I definitely can agree with you that we definitely need a healing. And man, what better way to be healing than to laugh?
To come to a rehab. Come to rehab and get your laugh on, so you can get out of rehab. And you do in one night, we can get your endorphins back in place and get you back laughing again, healing. And that's why I believe that Julius Caesar named this the rehab. Because when you go to rehab is when you try to get yourself back together.
Definitely. Well, last time, my partner who I attend with, Trey Holiday, my co-host, she's out of town. So I got to figure out who I'm rolling with to Laugh Rehab. I know that we had a great time last time we went. I look forward to seeing you there tomorrow. We don't know what the hair color is going to be, but we know that you'll be there.
It's a mystery. Exciting to come. And also, I wanted to make a shout out to the host, Justin Hayes, because he was my bridge to get here. So I love him. He has definitely sucked off my comedy tits for like 20 years.
I guess it's got big and healthy then.
And you'll know he did, because he's got a thick mustache now because it covers the stretch marks on his lips. So
all right, look, we're gonna let you go, but tomorrow, Julius Caesar's.
Oh, was this PG? Did I get you nasty?
No, if you seen some of the stuff we played on here, but I won't even go there.
I'm
but
sorry.
No, you're okay. But Julius Caesar's Laugh Rehab tomorrow at 7:30?
7 p.m. is showtime.
7 p.m.
6 p.m. is
doors.
But for people who have time struggling, make it 6 p.m. showtime. And that way you don't be here at 7
That's the
o'clock.
signal to the community.
Yes, we on our own natural time.
All right, Debbie Wooten, thank you for joining us, and I'll catch you tomorrow.
Thank you so much for having me, and God bless everybody, and see you tomorrow night so we can heal.
I know that's right. We're going to take a quick break right now. We come back. Jake Gravbrot returns back to the set. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
The story of Converge Media did not start at the Seattle protests or at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, nor 4 years ago when we very first opened our doors. The true story of Converge Media is firmly rooted in the legacy of Black media heroes of yesterday, whose shoulders that we stand upon today. Converge Media is firmly rooted in the pioneering spirit of Horace Caton Sr., who over 125 years ago launched the Seattle Republican newspaper alongside his wife, Susie Revels Caton, a trailblazer in her own right, serving as the associate editor, a groundbreaking feat for a woman and especially a Black woman at that time. We are rooted in the visionary eye of Al Smith, who documented Black beauty, culture, vibrance, and excellence through his lens. We are rooted in the benevolence of Fitzgerald Beaver, who envisioned the Facts newspaper, the very same newspaper where my father, James Salisbury Jr., was a staff photographer over 4 decades ago. We are rooted in the broad and innovative shoulders of Chris Bennett, who with his Z-Twins radio took the story of Black excellence to the airwaves. We are rooted in the fearlessness of Roberta Bird Barr, who 56 years ago broke ground and shattered stereotypes as she hosted the TV show Face to Face that tackled issues of race and equity head on. We are rooted in the rhythms of Gordon Curvey, whose music Inner City brought our culture and vibes to TV screens across the Emerald City. Converge Media is also inspired by our contemporary icons. We are inspired by the commitment to storytelling from Tony B and Rainier Avenue Radio, and inspired by the passion and dedication of Marcus Harrison Green of the South Seattle Emerald. So you see, when you look at Converge Media today, and especially as we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Morning Update Show, just know that our story did not begin with us, nor will it end with us, as it is our duty at Converge Media to broaden our shoulders for the next generation of Black media innovators, to stand firmly upon them and to tell the stories of our community to generations yet to come. Share the stream.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show, man. Debbie Wooten's a handful. All right, we got a few minutes left, and Jake, I'll let you set this up quickly. You went up there to the North Cascades, you got off the grid, you visited a cabin. Tell us real quick, we'll play the video.
Okay, yeah. Oh, just hit on it right there. But North Cascades is another national park that we have in our state that's often overlooked because of just how snowy it is throughout a good portion of the year. But at the very beginning of May, I made it up there. Probably I think my second or third time this year that I've been up to the North Cascades, and got a little off the grid for a weekend. Had a good time doing it too. So this next piece is actually a place that you can rent on Airbnb. It's called the Sojourn Cabin. If you really want to look it up, I thought it was so much fun, and it was really pretty reasonable per night. So take it away.
I would need to work my way into that because I know that there's no phone, there's no this, there's no that. So I'd have to prepare myself to make the trip to that cabin.
I don't think that actually this is exactly where you should go.
That's where I should be.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. Just to spend a weekend completely off the grid. You don't have your computer. I don't know if you know what to do with yourself, but it sounds like a good idea for you, in my opinion.
I would look into that, man. All right, it's Feel Good Friday, and before we get out of here, I think that I'll switch any last words into what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for, Jake?
I'm thankful for diversity in community. This is Pride Weekend this weekend. We have all these different months in the country where we celebrate the history of different groups of people, ethnicities, et cetera, but I'm always grateful for that because all these different faces and orientations and ethnicities that make up this beautiful world that we have, just to me makes it a more beautiful place.
That's dope. More and more, it's like, I'm grateful, of course, to my parents for. I tell people all the time, these guys, they're just historians, study, research, still, at their age, they're still just learning. But I'm really grateful to Stephanie Johnson Tolliver, the Black Heritage Society of Washington State, Esther Mumford. These are people who've carried the torch of our history and our legacy here in the state of Washington. And a lot of times have made a lifetime commitment to that and a career to that. And if people only knew how many times I go to the well, Stephanie, what's up with this? What's up with that? And I learned so much. And imagine that we have a resource so accessible to our community that can always help us tell the true and honest story about who we are and our legacy here in Seattle and the state of Washington. And so, man, I'm real thankful to Stephanie, to Esther Mumford, and to all the people that have worked over the decades here to collect and store and amplify Black history here in Washington State. Really dope. On that note, I think we can take it wide. It's it's gonna be a hot weekend. Reminding everybody to please take precautions to stay cool and some everything else. And of course, you can go to whereweconverge.com/blog, and we've got a list of different public places and resources to stay cool, and also some tips that are there. It's going to be a long weekend, a hot weekend. We're definitely going to go and be supportive of our the different events occurring in our community. And although others might be silent, we won't. We're going to speak up. We're going to use our voice, and we always want to be on the side of right. On that note, I want to remind everybody to go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until Monday at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. rising sun.